Hi, it's me again with Corel Draw Tips and Tricks, and this is the second part of engraving on a Yeti type tumbler, or I guess any type of cylindrical cylinder that has an embossing on it where you need to put a logo on both sides of the glass, and you want one of the logos on the side of the embossing. And I did it before by creating a rectangle and such, and I was talking to Jimmy yesterday with Engraving Concept, and he gave me a little insight on something you could do, and it worked, and I never had even thought about it. So my cylinder is 8.75 by 1 inch is where I want to engrave. And on the other video I showed where I made this rectangle, and then I went up to the window in Docker and made this a non-engravable. But he suggested doing something else, and I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to hit P and put it in the center of the page. I'm going to bring in an indexing line. Sorry about that. Bring in an indexing line and put it in the center of the page. Then I'm going to do the same thing I did in the other video. So if you haven't watched the video, there might be a little bit more information there for you. I'm going to take the 2-point line. I'm going to go from that node to midpoint. Node to midpoint. And if you notice, I'm starting over on each line instead of going from that spot down. I find it's easier to hit the midpoint when you come back up. And then you just get your logo. And for this particular video, I'm just going to use a star. And I'm hitting the control button and making the star perfect. And then I'm going to left click, right click, and I'm going to put this in the center. And then I'm going to control D and make a duplicate of that. And I'm going to put it in the center, and it's going to snap to that intersection. Now you can get rid of these indexing lines, or these reference lines is I guess what you'd call it. Now what you need to do is group all this together. Control G, and we're going to rotate it 270 degrees because that's the way my bottle would fit in my engraver. And if you haven't watched the other video, it's a little bit more helpful. But here's the suggestion that Jimmy made. Make our page that size. So we're going to go 8.75 by 1, and because my drawing was in the center of the page, and then just by chance I'm going to go and ungroup this, and I'm going to get rid of our red box, so it's not going to engrave anyway. But here was Jimmy's tip, and I never had even known it. Let me zoom in here a little bit more. So you've got it in the engraver and you're ready to engrave, and you would put a line. So you really need to watch the first video to figure out that this is the embossed area, and you want that star right on that embossing, and then on this on the other side. And I'm doing this on my laptop because it's the only computer I have that I can do this with. And I'm going to change my page size to that same size. So I'm going to 8.25 by 1. And you can see now my new page is that. Well, here was Jimmy's, and I never even knew this. I've always used center. Well, if you have an epilogue, and I don't know about other lasers, but an epilogue, you have center page engraving. And then you just hit OK. And of course, you put your preferences in as far as your speed and your power. So you're going to raster that, and I'm not going to get into that, but you press OK, and then you press OK and print. This is going to print equally, and if you've got the starting point marked on the at the right spot, it's going to move down and engrave the star exactly on that embossing, or really close. This is one thing, you need to make your measurement of your cup precisely, or your tumbler. These two stars will be equally apart, but if your page size is just a 1/16 of an inch, this star might be a 1/16 of an inch either way of your embossing. So anyway, instead of creating a rectangle and making it unprintable in Docker of, let me just get to that point. You know, object Docker, you can make that, and I showed that in the first video, so I'm not going to go into that, but you could actually have that one, well, I don't have a rectangle anymore, so only the 2 stars are going to print. Hope that wasn't a little bit too confusing, but anyway, make your page size and then use page center. Anyway, hope that helped a little bit. Thank you for watching.